have pretended and eat with my friends. And the problem is not that I don't want to be with my friends. I love the socializing. The hallway track is the best part of any con. But and I came to the realization that I am a snob. I'm a food snob. And so rather than have to suffer anymore, I'm going to bring you all up to my level. Really, when I began to research this talk, I began to understand that the reason I'm the way I am is because I was programmed that way. In my defense, my parents are both food snobs. My care packages as a child at summer camp and when I went away to college consisted of Zabar's bagels, Murray's cream cheese, and smoked salmon. Yes. I got scones with clotted cream from England. I got figs with prosciutto to wrap around them. Other people got chips and cookies and stuff like that, and this is what my parents sent me. And everybody's parents embarrass you as a child, but some of my most embarrassing moments, have you ever had them have to hold a plane for you while your mother explains in detail where she got the tortillas she's smuggling 4 suitcases of? My childhood was wasted trying to find the perfect New York meatball sandwich in California and the perfect Mexican food in Manhattan. So I spent a lot of time thinking about the whys, and I came across the most interesting book. There's a man named David Kessler. He was head of the FDA for 7 years under Clinton, and he has trouble controlling what he eats. And so he decided to research. Come on up, guys, because there are bags on the chairs for you to have. Okay, and when he decided that he was going to, I need to walk around, and it's hard to pace because this is taped on. When he decided that he needed to figure out why he was compulsively addicted to certain kinds of foods, he began looking into the whole science behind food. And he discovered, much to his surprise, it led him not only to neuroscientists, but to flavor makers in the FDA and to people like Firmenich, whose only job it is to come up with fake chemical flavors of things. And his research led him to write a book about it, which is called The End of Overeating, and I strongly recommend it to you. Now, mind you, it's written for public consumption, so it's an easy read. It's kind of dumbed down, but it's meticulously documented. And if you want to read the actual papers that are published on PubMed, it's all in the back, so you can get the science that's on this. So, what you're going to get today. First, we're going to talk about this whole neuroscience and how your brain is wired and how the food industry in particular is rewiring your brain. And then we're going to experiment with some things, not so that you can find out what I think about them, but so that you guys can understand what it is you are tasting from your own personal perspective. I don't know how your brain's wired. I don't know what it is you think about things when you taste them, but this will at least allow you to take the time to think about it. So the experiments the first thing we're going to do is in each of your bags are 4 pieces of chocolate labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they are from 4 single plantation chocolates. That means that every cocoa bean in that particular piece of chocolate came from one plantation in one part of the world. They are either from Michel Quisel or Valrhona, which are 2 of my favorite chocolatiers. And on your sheet of paper are a list of flavor notes. We're going to have a contest to see if you can taste the things that the experts think that they're tasting. And whoever comes close, I have prizes. The second experiment we're going to run is, for those of you that drink alcohol, there's a particular French wine. It is their version of port. It's a Grenache grapes. It's kind of meh. It's not a creamy tawny port with a smoky aftertaste that you know and love. There's no real reason to drink this until you pair it with either chocolate or cheese. And when I do food tastings and I want to show people why you pair a food with a particular wine, this is the best example I know of. So we're going to try that. And then the third experiment we're going to run today is in each of your bags is also a tablet of miracle fruit. Miracle fruit is a Japanese berry, and in tablet form it's highly concentrated. What it does is block your ability to taste sour. So we're just going to mess around. I bought a whole bunch of things. We got lemons and limes. We have salsa. We have M&Ms cucumbers and a few other things, just so that you can. The last experiment is just so you can mess around, but it will affect you for a while. Okay, so let's talk about the science first. This is not true. There is no place on your tongue that is just for bitter, just for sour, just for salt, and just for sweet. Every taste bud on your tongue is actually a set of receptors for all of them. It's just that there are some more concentrated in certain areas than others. What you really taste with is your brain. And particularly with the cool thing about this is that your body is an electrochemical machine. And taste is one of its hackable interfaces. And once you understand that, you can mess with it any way you want to. So this is that book I was talking about by Kessler, The End of Overeating. I strongly recommend you get it. What Kessler found when he visited food scientists, he took with him a copy of the Chili's menu and had one of the food scientists go through some of the appetizers and some of the main courses. And what he found was that each appetizer and each main course is set up with fat, salt, sugar, fat, salt, sugar, sugar, fat, sugar, salt, salt, salt. Variations of that, but all in particular proportions. The food is also pre-processed. It's not cooked. At any chain restaurant, any fast food restaurant, and these are the top of the line chain restaurants as well. Your food is not cooked at the restaurant. Your food is pre-prepared in a factory. It is pre-digested for you. For example, if you order something like a chicken breast, the food is the chicken breast is put inside of a tumbler where it is tumbled with whatever liquid they want to inject it with, whatever oil and flavorings and those of you who are in the back, you need to come up and get bags and oh good, Render's handing them out, with the stuff you're going to taste. And that's done for two reasons. First, it takes a crappy piece of meat and it makes you feel like it's better, it's moister and it's fresher and it's whatever because they've injected oils in it to plump it up, and liquids and marinades and things like that. But it's also softened so that it is pre-chewed. It's such that when you eat it faster. And you don't even realize it. How many of you go out to eat and eat much more than you think you're going to? You order a plate of appetizer of something and it's gone before you're aware that you've eaten it. And then you order a main course and the main course comes and it's a lot of food and you polish it all off without thinking about it. This is calculated. They're doing this on purpose. And the other thing that Kessler found out is it's not just the restaurants that are doing it, it's your grocery stores. If you walk into a normal supermarket today and you look on the shelves, even if there are hundreds of products, with the exception of very specialized grocery stores, those hundreds of products come from 5 manufacturers only. No matter whose name is on the product, they're from 5 manufacturers. And so if you buy a packaged mix of something you're going to make at home, if you buy a canned spaghetti sauce or a bottled jar of something that you're going to add, if you're not carefully looking at the label, chances are you're getting a particular mixture of sugar, salt, and fat. So what's happened and what they've discovered is that, and they did this with very interesting experiments with rats, which I'll get to in a second, but what they've discovered is that the brain has what they call certain bliss or saturation points. And those points depend on a percentage or a ratio of fat to sugar and fat to salt. And when it's right, you can't stop eating it. Have you ever opened a bag of Doritos? And so what this does is this bliss point that they're talking about stops your brain from being able to it stops what they call the saturation point. You don't understand that you've had enough. You can't. Your brain, The dopamine pathways that you have lead to two things. The limbic system is one of emotion, your reward pathways essentially, and the hippocampus, which is your one of memory. And the two together create actual neural pathways in your brain. So the more fast food you eat, the more likely you are to eat more of it. And unless you know that, this is all happening to you instead of for you. I think I'm probably confusing you, but the experiments, here's the kind of experiments that they ran. They took food that rats kind of like, and they put it in one corner of a cage. They took foods that rats can't resist, and they poisoned it in such a way that it made the rats sick, and they put it in the other corner of the cage. Then they put the rats in, and the first thing the rats did was run to the corner of the cage for the food they really like, eat it up, and get sick. Normally, then the rats avoid that food for the next week or so. It takes about a week for them to forget about it, unless they alter the fat-to-sugar ratio of it. And when they alter the fat-to-sugar ratio, the rats will eat it anyway, even though they know they're going to get sick. They can't stop themselves. That's what's happening to us. That's what the food industry has been doing on purpose. Why do you think that your proportions are so big? So what makes me different is that I can't do it. You know the freshman 15 pounds that everyone gains their first month of college, their first semester of college? I lost weight because I couldn't eat the dorm food. Because my parents didn't eat it, I don't have the same neural pathways naturally. So while there are some things I will overeat, if you take me out to Nobu, I will overeat on brilliant sushi. But at $200 a person, that's somebody else has to pay for it. But I can't stomach some of the food. I'd rather go hungry. And it's only because my brain is wired differently. So what I want you guys to do is understand enough about this so that you can do the wiring of your brain. Wire it any way you want to. It's your brain. But understand and don't let things be done to you. Do it yourself. So here's one more thing I wanted to oops, we're going up. We should be going down. So what's happening with the commercially prepared foods is that they are taking over you. And one of the things that they found about obesity in particular is that it has exactly the same neural responses as any other form of addiction. You become conditioned to it, you become unable to stop it. And that, I think, not only is it dangerous for you physically, but I find that particularly offensive that someone or some group of people would believe that they can do that to me. I want the control over my own body to do so that I can do whatever I want to do. So now that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the science. Go read the books. If like me, can you guys hear me okay if I just shout for a second? I need my hands. Yeah. If like me, your finances have taken a rather abrupt downward turn in this current economy, you probably need to do a lot of cooking for yourself. I recommend 2 books, or at least two groups of people. The first is Cook's Illustrated. Has anybody heard of this?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Cook's Illustrated is a science for cooking. They basically hack ingredients, and whether it's something they're interested in, like making scones, or something somebody's written them to and say, how do I do this? They take a recipe. They then alter the temperature that you're baking it at by 15 degrees, or by 10 minutes longer, or they change the level of fluids, and they make 50 different batches of something and figure out which one tastes the best. So in the science of cooking, Cook's Illustrated is where I would go to. We've never had a recipe that they have recommended fail, not once. And we have, yeah, it's a great magazine, great website. You can just go cooksillustrated.com and figure out what you want to make that day, and I guarantee you might not agree with some of their flavor choices, but they give you all sorts of different options and why. The second thing I recommend is the Flavor Bible, and this is fun. Somebody has taken all the characteristics of everything you can think of, every single ingredient, and created an analog database of what it is, what its flavor notes are, and what it's going to go with. So if you open your refrigerator and you have almonds and parsley, you can search in here for almonds and parsley and figure out what you can make with them and why. This is very fun. A friend of mine, by the way, the woman who designed the Hack Bakery, I don't know if you're familiar with that, she's putting this all into online database format, so eventually we'll be able to search it. I don't know if she'll publicize it or not. But I'll pass both of these around. Feel free. This is so much fun. Just to go through. And now let's taste stuff. Okay. So, how many of you have ever been to a chocolate tasting before? Okay, then you already know what I'm going to talk about. I chose chocolate instead of something else like cheese. Excuse me, because it's more approachable for most people. But like wines, like cheeses, chocolate is a very complex food. And therefore, it's a good thing to try when you first experiment. So, what I want you to do is I want to open up your bags and take out those 4 little bags.
Does everybody have a bag?
Yeah. Does anyone need a bag and a score sheet? Okay. So I don't know how readable that is. That's a chocolate tasting wheel. These are how the experts divide, render back there. This is how the experts divide the chocolate flavor notes. Sweet, chocolatey, aromatic, roasted, earthy, medicinal, fruity, and dairy. You also sometimes get things like citrus. And in that, of course, there are all these other subcategories like caramel or nutty or whatever. And I wish I had one of these for everybody, but I don't. But I'll put it back up on the screen for us later. Oh, what did I do? Hold on. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of chocolate. Whoever's computer this is, come back and fix it. You can take a piece of chocolate. It doesn't matter which because the bags are numbered. Just remember for your sake which number it is. And I want you to look at it. One of the wonderful things about the taste interface of your body is that of all of your senses, this is the only one that combines. It combines sight, it combines smell, it combines touch, and it combines taste. Okay? So, so the first thing I want you to do is pull out a piece of chocolate. Just remember what bag it's in, because you're going to have to know what number it is to mark it on your sheet. The contest is, the checklist that you have on your sheet of paper contains what the experts think of a particular chocolate, one of the ones that's in your bag. Okay? Your job is to taste each of the chocolates. And by the way, in each of your bags is crackers so that you can have a piece of cracker in between chocolate so that you can clear your palate. Okay? Your job is to see if you can match what the experts think. And if you can, you get a bar of Lindt Weihnachtsschokolade. This stuff, if Christmas had a flavor, this would be it. It is only available between November and December, and it's not available in the US at all. I order this from Germany every year, and it costs me as much to ship it as it does to actually, as the bars themselves cost. And it is worth every penny. Okay? So, yes?
Technique, are we chewing this?
Okay. You are going to let it melt on your tongue. Chocolate cannot be tasted unless it melts, which is why the fat content is so important. So smell it, look at it. Is it shiny? Is it variegated in texture? Is it smooth? And then let it melt on your tongue. And then see what you taste. Breathe in. Breathe in through your mouth. All of these, by the way, are top chocolatiers, so you don't have to worry, you're not getting crap. And then take your time we're not in a hurry. We've actually got plenty of time. So when you've finished one, mark down which one you think it matches, and go on to the next one. And meantime, I'm going to have some chocolate. By the way, just so you know, these are the bars that you are tasting. And I have a few extras in case other people win. Rinder, we have somebody, a couple other people in this bag. Thanks. Any opinions? Like, don't like? Come give him a bag too.
I didn't even get the honor, didn't even get any chocolate. This is terrible development. Oh my God.
Rinder has the bags, right? You got one for Rinder. Mm. I hope you never go back to Hershey's again. Though I have to admit,
That's not chocolate, that's wax.
it's got sour milk in it, you guys, and you can taste it. Though I have to admit, I have a fondness for M&Ms. Melted in the microwave. You ever put them in for like 10 seconds and the chocolate melts but the shell doesn't? It's wonderful.
Put it in your car.
You know what marshmallows roll up in the microwave? Take a couple of M&Ms and poke them into marshmallow.
Louder.
Take a marshmallow. I don't need the mic. Don't worry about it. Take a marshmallow and poke a hole in it, like with a skewer or a fork, and put a couple of M&Ms inside the marshmallow and put them in the microwave for like 10 to 20 seconds, depending on your microwave. The marshmallow expands. The M&Ms melt inside the shell, but the shell still remains hard. It's like a marshmallow with a candy center. That is awesome stuff.
The wonderful thing about eating real food is that you have to eat it slower in order to taste it, and you're going to eat less of it. You need less to be satisfied because your body knows when it's had enough. So the thing about good chocolate is, I'll buy these bars. I get one of my 12 days of Christmas presents is 12 bars from different plantations or different parts of the world, and those bars will last me a couple of months because I only need a piece or two at a time. You don't have to cram so much more in just to get a decent, satisfying experience of it. You really do eat less, and I think that's one reason why. For example, if you're eating in restaurants in Europe, the portions are so much smaller, but you don't go away hungry.
Unless they're owned by an American.
Yeah, unless you're going to McDonald's in Germany. Okay, How are we doing so far?
Almost there.
Okay, let me know when. We've got at least a half an hour, so we're not in a hurry. Take your time and enjoy. Yeah.
If you had lunch, does that affect your taste now?
Can do, but it depends on how long.
Hot peppers?
I have salsa.
No, you're gonna get hot pepper for lunch.
That fourth one.
Yeah.
I think I got it. I think I got it.
You got hit by something, huh?
No, this was easy. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Now what you need to do is, we're talking about beer earlier. Just get like a dark chocolate cake.
Say loud so everyone can hear.
So besides all the wine and the other food pairings, one of the big things that's picking up now is tasting craft beer with various foods and whatnot. I think there's a couple brewers out there that make quite a big effort. I think Garrett Oliver of Brooklyn does a lot of
Yes.
tasting. Same thing with Sam Callione from Dogfish Head. One of the things is trying to do beer and desserts. So there's lambic style from Belgium that really goes well with fruits and dark chocolates.
That's
So-
the heavy dark, isn't it?
no, that's actually the more champagne-like.
Ooh, I have to try that then.
and-
'Cause I love a dark.
Yeast, right, in the wild.
Well, that's Brettanomyces, which is the wild yeast. But also to do an imperial stout or a really dark, strong stout with the chocolate, and it actually enhances the chocolate flavor a lot of times too.
I found that really interesting is really dark chocolate with red wine. Usually I cannot stand red wine. When I have red wine with chocolate, it's great.
Those are really good chocolates.
Okay, as soon as everybody's finished, I'll read you off what the scores are, and you can tell me if you won.
I win.
I always believe people are. Actually, I really do always believe people. But I want to make sure everybody's had a chance, because we've had a few people just come in. But aren't they good? Aren't these ones really worth having? Now,
Every time I go to Belgium, I just bring back a bunch of chocolate.
I bring an extra suitcase.
Which brand do you like from Belgium?
Actually, it doesn't matter.
I know, you can just go to really the supermarket and just get Coke.
But it's amazing what you can find now with certain ones. Zabar's is on 80th Street and Broadway in Manhattan. It's very funny because Zabar's has always been known for like, no matter where you are in the world, if you crave something, they will send it to you. But they actually have the best prices for certain things. They roast their own coffee, so their coffee is absolutely effing fantastic. And now they've started with their own bars. I brought both dark and their dark milk for us to have with the banyuls today, and it's quite good. But sometimes you can find some particular house brands, local brands that are inexpensive. I mean, these bars are half the cost of these, and just as satisfying. Wegmans, I don't know if you guys have Wegmans. Is where you guys are? They do it. They've come out with their own now Wegmans house brand, which is quite good. Anybody in California or anybody who's online, have you joined the Cho beta testing club yet? Yeah, John. Cho, that's TCHO. A couple .com billionaires decided to start their own chocolate company, and they've been beta testing chocolate for a while now. And you can join. You can sign up, and for like $5, they send you a bar of something, and you send them back your comments on it. Is it too citrusy? Is it this, whatever? And they've now got, I think, 4 or 5 different versions of each with their own different flavor notes, but they keep coming up with more. So I recommend you guys all go to Cho and sign up. But they're in Barcadero in the Bay Area, right in San Francisco, so you can just wander down there and try stuff too. Scharfenberger's another really good U.S. brand. Okay, we done? We're gonna try this? Okay. Let me get a sheet so I know what I'm actually telling you about. Oh, God, thanks. If you're new, come up here and get a bag of something to taste. You missed the actual contest, but you won't miss the food. All right. The first one on the list is B. It is highly, and it's B only because this is my own personal code because of the box color. It is highly aromatic, exceptionally long finish, combining a toasty, spicy, and herbaceous notes with flavors of ripe tropical fruits and licorice sticks. B is, hold on, find out which box it is. B is number 4. Yeah. Okay, so this is Michel Cuizel's Via Gracinda, Anna, and it comes from the island of Saint-Thomé, just off the coast of Africa. Okay? So, number 2 is O. O has hints of vanilla in it. It has honey and spice cake and caramel, and a lingering aroma, of mixed dried and black fruits. O is number 2. Okay. Number 2, by the way, is also Michel Cuizel. This is Concepcion. This is from the Caribbean. Sorry. Anyway, it says he selected this plantation in the valley of Barlovento to the east of Caracas. Oh, coolorama. Okay. Number 3 has an exceptionally long nose with dried fruits, sweet almonds, and a woody base. It's balanced and velvety. Number A is 1.
Bingo!
Okay. I may not have brought enough prizes. And the last one, of course, is the only one left over, number 3. So, honey, caramel, roasted oats, low acidity, no fruit. In other words, this is the milk chocolate. Yeah. Okay, anybody get them all right? I don't have enough prizes. Would you guys be willing to share if we broke some of this up? Yes. Okay, let's do that. Thanks. Okay. Come up and get, by the way, I have some of this back in my room for those of you who don't get a chance to taste it. But come break this up into, say, 4ths or 6ths. Break this up into 4ths or 6ths.
I think 6.
Yeah.
Break this up. For the rest of us. All right. Yeah. Yeah, break it up into...
Oh, not very well.
I have a few more bars of this back in my room, so I'll bring it down tonight to the bar and we can have some anyway. So, they used to sell this in the U.S. They don't anymore. And it's a big tragedy because this is for me is a Christmas, a childhood memory. Ganz gut. Wie lange war sie da? Oh, ausgezeichnet. Das wäre viel Spaß, ne? Ja. Guys, we have a whole nother bar, so everybody else come up and get some too. And then we're going to try the next thing, which is the wine. So let's break this up into single squares. It actually has single, single serving. So if you each take, it is. We would each break it up into single squares. My hand is shaking because I'm too excited.
Excuse me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys, I'm just glad that you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. Okay. Here, so somebody take some and break it up and share it out so this goes faster. Yes. Isn't it? It's amazing. Nothing tastes like this, I swear to God.
I'm gonna have to get some friends to ship this.
Can I take a look at that first?
Yeah.
So you buy it from friends in Germany or from a ship?
For a while, I had a remailer in Switzerland, and I would just have Lynn send it to my remailer, my remailer send it to me. There is one mail order place called Bavaria, whatever. Ping me and I'll get you a link.
Well, I was wondering if I might be better off giving friends to...
Everybody get some?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I now need you all to clear your palates if you still have some crackers left. And if you don't, if you don't, go get a chip. Where are the?
Like one of the blue ones?
Yes. If you're out of crackers, come get a tortilla chip to fill your house. Then we're gonna do the next thing, and then the last thing we'll just do in a hurry. There are two things that you can try right now that we're gonna do. If you've never had real balsamic vinegar, you don't know why people rave about it. This bottle is $250. What? It was a gift. It's also past its sell by date, so I can't. There's none for you guys to share. This stuff is the closest affordable I have found to it. Real balsamic vinegar is not vinegar. Real balsamic vinegar is aged like wine. It uses grape most, I think that's what they call it, and it is aged in wooden casks, and it tastes like candy. It is syrup. People who buy this stuff wander around with little silver spoons and dole it out on top of their peaches or on top of something else. But they wander around with like silver demi-tasse spoons. And that's it. So this stuff, when I use this in anything, when I drizzle it on a dessert, or when I put it as part of a salad dressing, or when I add it to gravy or to something else that I think it needs, you need very, very little of it. It's highly concentrated. It's very sweet. And it's just delicious. The flavor that it adds is unique to itself. I can't really describe it as anything but balsamic vinegar. But it's so subtle that it changes the total picture without letting you know what's actually tasting. So what I want you to do is head up to, we're going to do two things right now. The second thing I want to talk to you about is the banyuls. And this is because it will optimize our time if we do both at the same time. People pair food and wine, and they do it for a reason. Because both of the things that you're tasting are better paired than they are apart. The sum is greater than the whole. And the best example I have of this is this wine from France. It's a Grenache. It's called Banyuls. It's France's trying to do port. So it's not a single vintage, it's a blend. And by itself, there's absolutely no reason to drink it. It's just meh. It's truly unremarkable and uninteresting until you pair it with either chocolate or cheese. A beautiful blue cheese, and it's amazing, the change. Chocolate is not as strong, but I didn't know how overpowering the cheeses would be, and people are very particular about their cheese tastes. So I thought it would be much more approachable for everybody if we used chocolate. So in the little cups to the right, where there's the whole lines of cups, you'll find banyuls. And you'll also find little broken up pieces of the Zabar's chocolate, milk and dark, it doesn't matter, take your own preference. So what I want you to do to taste the balsamic vinegar, come get one of those little spoons, wooden spoons, just dip it in one of the three vinegar things and just taste it. That's it'll be interesting, you'll like it, you'll be surprised. This bottle sells for around $40, $45, so it's quite affordable. It will last you 6 months easily because you use so very little of it. When I'm making a salad dressing for 4 or 6 people, I'm using maybe a teaspoon of it. You don't need much more than that. So come and try that. And also for the banyuls, how I want you to do this is I want you to taste, just sip the wine. You'll find that you won't really like it. It's not great at all. Then I want you to have the chocolate, let it melt on your tongue, let it coat the whole tongue, and taste the wine again and see if there's any difference to you in the way that it tastes, okay? So everybody, they're on both sides of the room, come up and take a spoon, dip it in one of the things, just taste. You only need a drop. And take the banyuls and stuff. Oh, okay, hold on. Is there no vinegar on this side?
There's vinegar on this side.
Okay, great. We're all taken care of? Good.
I didn't see it, so sorry.
I have more left if we run out, so. experiment.
Yeah, you're right, that is interesting. Pork for me is,
That's my actual drink choice.
Yeah.
Yes, that's your
mine.
choice. Yep. About between $30 and $40 a bottle.
So a nice pork is roughly similar, so
Yeah.
I'm still gonna get four.
If I'm gonna get, yeah.
I'm gonna get four of that nice 20-year-old Tom. Very happy.
So by the way, here's the lowdown on the screens is the lowdown on the balsamic vinegar and what makes it different. I think that one's mine.
Oh,
That's okay. The wine should open up in your mouths. You should actually taste it bigger than it was.
yeah, usually I'm not that big a fan of many reds,
Yeah.
but I found a couple years ago that if I combine it with chocolate, I
Completely different.
love reds.
Hey, so
Thanks
for
for
someone who
coming.
doesn't drink,
Well, that's
what
the
do they
thing.
pair it with?
One of the lambics,
Um,
and pair that with
You should pair chocolate with
will actually
anything.
bring both out a lot more.
Let's
The nice
look
thing
at,
about the lambics because they'll be more effervescent. Like
Usually what
I began to drink as an adult, so I've got a lot of. The trouble is that when you grow up, you tend to drink Kool-Aid. So I would try a sharp lemon citrusy. I would try, or I would try a tea or something.
Ideas.
I bet we could do something with
Buy
teas.
different sorts of wine.
This is easily one of the best talks I've been for years.
Years.
It's something I do.
I know you have no time, but if you ever wanted to sometimes tighten the belts, you could like sell this as a little course. My parents and stuff would all like,
Oh, no idea.
they would pump like
Yeah.
$20 a head.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That would cover it easily.
I'll do you a deviant art job on your slides, just for the privilege of having a little piece of this.
Let's do it. There's a lot of other things I can do as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of
This is
people that
just-
would really go into this.
I'm just glad you guys are having fun. This is when you understand how yes, I promise I will. I'm free now. Once this is done.
All right.
Is it true that the balsamic
Goodness.
Yes. Yes. Like wines, good balsamic vinegar only can come from its own particular region. It has to come from Modena. Thank you. That's a good question.
Usually, I mostly, besides the cooking purposes, I use a lot of balsamic for, pair it with olive oil and dip bread.
Yeah.
Can you do it with oil stuff? Because I think you can do it with cake stuff.
Yeah.
But That's what I usually use
I
the
wouldn't.
cheap
This
sauce
is too much like candy for that.
Most people don't know the seal system too, like the certification.
Oh, yeah.
Like the wax seal. Yeah.
Because most of the supermarkets
Yep.
won't have that.
Yeah, none of the balsamic vinegars you get in a normal supermarket are aged in casks, okay? You have to get this from specialty, and I strongly recommend this one. It's inexpensive, but by the way, like a wine, it's only bottled once a year. When they run out, and you can't get any more for that year.
It doesn't compare to.
Go ahead and take a seat so we can continue, just so we can
Okay.
keep moving.
We're going to run out of time for the miracle fruit, so I suggest everyone sit down when you're done, and let's get on to the last and final thing, which can take up the rest of the time. It's exactly what it is. It has to be reduced.
It's interesting because I can produce it vaguely.
Sometimes, but it's not going to come out the same. No. Okay. Miracle fruit is cool. I only threw this in because it's fun, and it just shows how your body's receptors really do control what you perceive. So this is this berry. It's in Japan, and what they found is that when they condensed it, and that's what you have in your little tablets, which are in your bags. You each have a tablet of this. I want you to take it out. I want you to put it in your mouth, and I want you to let it melt on your tongue, and you're going to swirl it around. It has to coat your entire tongue. I'm afraid that this is going to affect you for at least an hour. You are going to feel very weird, I promise.
I was at parties. I said the same thing last week.
Drink a lot of water.
Now, I do warn you, there is a tiny percentage of the population for which this has absolutely no effect at all. Like, there's humans on every range of the spectrum. Some of you might not be affected, and some of you might be over-affected, and it might last even longer. Besides parties, the uses for miracle fruit, they're finding that it is especially good for people like cancer patients because radiation tends to destroy your ability to taste and therefore your desire to eat. And what they found is that when they can give this stuff to people who've gone through radiation therapy, it at least gives them enough of a taste that food tastes good to them again, and they can eat for a while. So it has to dissolve on your tongue. It has to coat your tongue. For those of you in the back, I have, please come up and get some yourself. I have extras. If we're out of bags, I still have extra miracle fruit. Can you pass out there? Yep. The nice thing about the miracle fruit right now is ThinkGeek is selling them buy 3 get 1 free. Get it from Render, the guy in the hat right there. And so if you bought 3, you got 1 free. If you bought 6, you got 1 free. But if you bought 3 and then bought another 3 and then bought another 3, you got 1 free. So that's how I help fund this. And also because you get lots of things with your extra geek points. They're about $15 a box for 10. Now normally I give people a half a tablet at a time because then it only lasts for about half an hour. But I wanted you guys to have the full effect of this. Does it work? Works for John. Okay, once it's dissolved and you've allowed it to coat on your tongue, come and taste everything else. The lemons are going to taste like lemonade. The cucumbers are going to taste sweet to you. Salsa to me I couldn't eat because it was too sweet. Strawberries I couldn't eat because they were too sweet. It gagged me. They were so cloying. There's M&Ms, there's marshmallows. Just come and try things. Feel free. No.
There's one next to the water can over here. We can use our little bags. Oh yeah, you're right.
Here's also the garbage bags and things.
I see a lot of barbecue in that picture.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna try getting that.
Another round of Bruce announcement. Oh my God.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never done that before.
It is very weird. Okay.
Where's the wastebasket?
Here.
I dropped this one.
I have some extras of things too. So, and it's but basically your job now is to go and find things to taste until the stuff wears off.
Balsamic vinegar tastes so overpowering.
Cloying, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's too sweet.
cloying,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So are you done?
I'm done with everything I was planning on saying. There's still a little bit of the Vinox chocolate up here if people want some more. There are a few more pieces. We were using bags and things.
Hey, Mouse, can you get this as A-Mart?
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's where I get it from.
Wow, did you try it?
Where do you get the miracle fruit things from?
I got that from ThinkGeek. You can also buy it on eBay, but I found that sometimes you'll get a different brand on the eBay ones, and they're not as strong. So So definitely, if you buy the miracle fruit, you want the green boxes, not the yellow. The last time we did this, some people, I had some of each. The yellow turned out to not to be very strong, and people didn't get nearly the effect that they do. Yeah. So you're one of the few that it can't. My friend Kat, it doesn't have any effect on Kat either. There's just a small percentage of the world. Yeah.
It doesn't work on her?
Doesn't work on her at all.
Where are you from?
All over. My parents are very coastal, so I grew up down
I
south.
haven't seen Z-bars anywhere outside New York City. There isn't.
I live across
But
from.
they're mail order and you can get anything from them.
No, I'm from New York City.
Oh, okay.
So it's fine. Like, I was just like wondering if there were Z-bars elsewhere because I would love to know now.
Although Zabar's cheese shop is nothing seasonal.
It isn't, and the interesting thing is that at Zabar's you can get the Brooklyn cheesecake, but at Murray's you get so.
Actually, I've got to tell you, even Cinderella, a lot of good stores in New York City have good cheese varieties. Yeah, well, Murray's
Yeah, but-
was kind of on its own.
Yeah, but the thing about Murray's is that there's no preservatives in their cream cheese. There's no and Murray's is in Grand Central. Station.
Okay, we have just a few more minutes until the next talk. So if you guys could finish up grabbing the little bit of food that you are going to grab for your more experiments.
Oh yeah. Where else can you
It
get
is
food?
almost 3 o'clock, so the next talks are going to start in a little bit. Before we start, we have another round of announcements.
Yes.
So, like again, you got 3 or 4 minutes. Grab a little bit more chocolate, marshmallows or whatever. Take your seats. There are still talks going on in the main conference hall. So you got about, like I said, you got about 3 minutes. Thank you.